Hey there, Patrick here with an unscripted video to show off this absolutely cracked new farming method that I found today. So, as of recording, GGG just released the big Necropolis update patch, which both buffed all the Necropolis crafting stuff, but crucially for this video, introduced a whole bunch of new all-flame items. And one of the ones that they introduced was these all-flame Ember of Anarchies. This, which says pack is contained of rogue exiles. So these all flames will replace general pack spawns in your map with packs of 2 to 4 rogue exiles. These are currently selling for like 50 to 70 chaos. I paid about 70 chaos for these. However, we are going to make incredible use of these. So the idea behind this farm is that it uses these rogue exiles in combination with this new horned scarab, which probably haven't seen before, and even if you have, you might not necessarily know where I'm going with this. What this horned scarab does is it lets you pick an imbued crafting option from the map device. These are alternate, more powerful versions of all the normal crafts on the map device, and they all do different things, like very unique things. So the one we're looking to abuse here, though, is imbued anarchy, which has the normal areas inhabited by 3 additional rogue exiles, but it also has items dropped by rogue exiles in area have 20% chance to be fractured. So this is a fractured item and scarab farm for the most part. You're also going to get tons of just general loot, as you're going to see, but the amount of scarabs and fractured items we get is insane. I tend to walk out from these maps with 6 full inventories of fractured items that are specifically only ones with a fractured tier 1 affix. I actually ID them in the map and throw out all the ones that don't have a tier 1 affix because there's just so much loot. You can't, 6 inventories isn't anywhere near enough. So you're seeing this, you're like, okay, so rogue exiles, 20% chance to be fractured. You're gonna, fill these in with lots of rogue exiles. I can sort of see where you're going with this, but this isn't actually a fill the map with a rogue exile strategy. What this is a strongbox strategy. And the reason why I'm going with strongboxes here is that it actually puts so many more rogue exiles in the map. To give you a sense of the scale, the rogue exile scarabs put 4 additional rogue exiles in the map. Okay, so that's what I could be using instead of these. But strong boxes spawn 3 packs of monsters that can appear in a map. 3 packs of native monsters. These replace native monsters with rogue exiles. So what this means is each strongbox, if you hypothetically replaced every monster in the map, I'm not rich enough to do that, I'm only going to replace 2, but if you did, every single strongbox would spawn 3 packs of rogue exiles, which means that every single strongbox would spawn somewhere between 6 and 12 rogue exiles, which means that these scarabs are, we'll say, an average of like 45 rogue exiles per scarab, and we have 3 of them. So this is like an extra 150 or so rogue exiles per map. And that's extra on top of all the regular packs being rogue exiles. On top of that, strong boxes often spawn rogue exiles. We get those too. And I'm pretty sure that monsters, it's hard to tell in all the chaos, so you're going to have to see for yourself, see if you can figure this out. But I'm pretty sure that when strong boxes revive rogue exiles, those rogue exiles still drop loot, which can also be more fractured items. I have set up my loot filter to hide all fractured items that aren't high item level on tier 1 item bases. And even so, I still have to I'm bringing in a whole bunch of wisdom scrolls to ID and chuck the ones in the map that don't have tier 1 affixes, because between all the scarabs we're going to get and all the fractured items we're going to get, there's just too much loot. Even for a single player with no magic find, there's just way too much. And the reason why we're getting tons of scarabs is that, well, these are adding like 150 rogue exiles to the map. So if you look at the atlas, we have the unique monsters in your map have 200% increased chance to drop scarabs. Well, when these maps have like 200 to 300 rogue exiles in them, it's a lot of scarabs. Now, this atlas is not even close to optimized, because something I learned after I designed this is that a lot of these rogue exile things in the atlas don't actually apply to these rogue exiles that are placed at packs. So they will not be tormented. They will not have additional rewards. So all the sort of torment and additional reward stuff, this is not an optimal layout. I'm pretty sure this currency stuff does still work, but a lot of this other stuff doesn't work. So I'm still sorting out the optimized version of this, but the more optimized version would probably go for this for even more like of the better scarabs and whatnot. And there's probably some other stuff you can do here. Just go for like quant and whatnot. I'm still sort of like iterating on it. Something I should warn you that you're going to see when I open this map is that these maps are unbelievably deadly. Like this farm I was doing before this was the farm that has like shrines where each one accompanied by map boss. That farm is a total cakewalk. 15 map bosses in your map, no problem. Packs of rogue exiles, incredibly deadly. So I've also set up the Atlas to give me everything I can possibly get to get a power boost here. So I have like all the shrine stuff. I have the whole Nico set up with with the Pact with Energy notable to try and just give me something to help survive. Like, hey, maybe I can get a Torment Spear, like anything to give me a buff. I was even considering going with Huck here, but I don't really have Huck set up, and that would sort of take more time. And this farm just launched today, so I'm coming in hot. But I wanted to share this with you guys as soon as possible. So I'm now, without further ado, I'm actually running out of ID scrolls. That's how many I consume here. I'm going to show you guys what the insanity that is these maps. So, okay, so make sure Imbued Anarchy is selected. It's very difficult to tell when it's selected. I sort of hate this. Always makes me nervous. So we'll open up the map. So, okay, we're going to replace these guys. I want to replace the top two because those are always the most common packs. So 40% increased quantity dropped. Fantastic. More quantity. Fantastic. We're going to get even more fractured items. I'm scared of what we're about to see here. So generally you want to put devoted modifiers on these rogue exiles because they're going to be scary enough, and oftentimes they will buff the drops. You don't want to put conversion things like this on it because that'll completely brick your fractured items. You don't want your fractured items converting into jeweled orbs. Some of those fractured items are going to be worth multiple divines. Okay, they're much better than a single jeweler's orb. So let's open up this map. And as you could see though on the clock, these maps can take a very long time. Part of that is that my build is not crazy powerful right now. Part of it, these are very powerful, or these are very scary, deadly maps. So hopefully I had one of these maps that I rolled way too high where I just like immediately lost 5 portals, and it was tragic. I mean, these maps can get absolutely out of control. I mean, you can already see how the madness. And I only replaced 2 of the packs with Rogue Exiles. Oh dear God. If I stop talking at any point during this video, it's because I have to concentrate on not dying instantly. You can already see, like, we only killed a couple Rogue Exiles here, and they're already exploding into just piles of fractured items. And I think we procced the area contains 20 additional Rogue Exiles, because normally I don't see all these reward types in my maps. Because the ones from the packs, as you can see, they aren't possessed, and they don't have the reward types. It should get a lot. I want to point out, like, look at how much loot and like all the explosions we got going on here and all the scarabs and fractured items. I haven't even clicked a strongbox yet. Like this is just from the ones that are in the map. Okay, the chaos of the start of this map is starting to die down a bit. Once my character gets a bit stronger, this farm's going to be insane as far as once I can get this thing, going much faster. There's also, once I finish this map, I'm actually going to talk a bit about what I think the next steps for this farm are, because I do think that this farm can be taken to the next level with a much more powerful character once I get like a Mage Blood or something. And in fact, I'm just going to talk about it while I farm. So I think what the next step for this farm is going to be is there is a Delirium passive on the tree that gives unique monsters in your Delirious maps a 2% chance to drop a Cluster Jewel. And like I said earlier, these maps have several hundred unique monsters in them. So once you're able to do this map Delirious, which I can barely do it as is. Oh, someone wants to buy a 4 divine item. Okay. As you can see, this farm has been going very well for me. I'm selling items for multiple divines. I'm just gonna try to pick up as many things as I can before making this sale. So normally I would spend some time, I'd clear the whole map, and ID the items before portaling out, because I'm using up an inventory here, which is slightly inefficient, but I forgot to turn D&D mode on. And this guy wants to spend 4 divines for something, so we're just gonna do this real quick. It's not a fractured item. You're making my video look bad. I'm supposed to show off the sale of the insane fractured item. Okay, well that's one of the ones from my Shrine Guardian farm from before this. I'm gonna turn D&D on real quick. But yeah, I have been raking in the currency doing this. The items you can get, I've gotten multiple T1 max roll spell suppression items, as the fractured modifier. It's truly insane. Yeah, this map rolled 20 additional exiles, which is scary because I'm currently still spec'd into these reward nodes that are mostly useless, but it's going to make this map, these already very deadly maps, exceptionally deadly. Just going to pick up a bunch more items in case I die. Oh boy. Oh yeah, I probably need to, as you can see, I still need to work on my loot filter. I need to hide, a whole bunch of stuff that, I shouldn't have these orbs of transmute and stuff still showing, but so you can see these are all, top tier fractured bases, and I'll just go through and I'll just ID them all. Anything that's not T1 just gets tossed. Yes, even that T2 attribute item, there are just too many items we're going to be carrying out. We just don't have room for anything that's not T1. That's a synthesized item. I don't know where that came from. Okay, so just to show you an example of what these strong boxes are like when I pop them. I mean, they spawn 5, 6, 7, 8 rogue exiles each time. And then they explode into fractured items. And then I do the next one. And because I'm fully spec'd into strong boxes, sometimes you can open them multiple times. Sometimes they revive nearby enemies. And I mean, I haven't really been talking about the scarabs, but just, you can see in just the raw loot, you can just see how much of that stuff is, oh boy. You can also see how terrifying these maps are. When you get these piles of rogue exiles together, it's just very scary. But this sort of thing is typical. Look at how many just piles of fractured items came from this one strong box. Yeah, I need to... Could have sworn I hid chromatic orbs. Maybe my loot filter didn't update. So not super lucky so far. This is why I need to hide more stuff in my loot filter, because you reach this point where you can only pick up okay. So T1, we got a T1 max roll resistance here. Not an incredible hit, but we'll take it. We do need some medium hits like that just to try and, pay for the cost of the All Flames and the Embers just to get these maps rolling. They can't all be 3, 4, 5 divine hits. Okay, so we got a T1, what is this? T1 max roll chaos resist here. This is going to be worth, I mean, let's just take a check of what this is worth. This is worth, there's none on the market. There's just none that exist. So I can basically name my own price on that. That my price will probably be multiple divines, although I am going to try to move these items quickly before people catch on, especially with me posting this video. But yeah, as you can see, things can get really crazy with this farm. T1 strength on those gloves. You can see just how quickly my inventory gets full. I'm gonna after this map, I'm gonna hide all this like bubblegum currency that shouldn't be showing up, so I can just have more room for fractured modifier or fractured items and scarabs. And right now, even without getting the node that makes the rarer scarabs more common, I'm just getting so many scarabs. I've been getting a fair amount of those. Plus, the strong boxes themselves do have modifiers now to drop scarabs. So this is just a really insane scarab farm. And once you have a character who doesn't have to kite around this group of 20 plus. I mean, like this one strong box. Look at how many rogue exiles spawned here. It's got to be like 15 to 20. And once you have a build that can just immediately just pop them and keep moving, this farm is going to be absolutely nuts. As you can see, my build is not there yet. I can barely do this farm that I found. But it's profitable enough that it's still worthwhile, even with how long these maps can take. We got a T17 map. At this point, my inventory is full, so I'm just going to clear the map. Or at least attempt to clear the map. If I die, I'll start looting stuff again. I'm likely to die at some point during this video. Oh, I also want to say that sometimes there's going to be so much stuff on screen. I want to give a bit of a seizure warning that I have seen Path of Exile often sort of bug out on this map. Okay. Oh, there's my death, as predicted. That's sort of why I tend to ID as I go. In an ideal world, you would clear the entire map and then come back to loot. But I die often enough that I kind of have to just ID as I go. So that when I die, I'm still taking out a full inventory because I need all 6 inventories of loot for these maps. Which is less than ideal, but honestly, by the end of today, with how profitable this farm is, my build should be so much better that I should just be absolutely destroying this farm. Something's hitting me. Okay, what do we got? Nothing, 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 nothing. Okay, damage over time multiplier, but it's not on a good base for that, so I don't think this is going to be worth much. Okay, cheapest one's 8 divines, so I guess there must be a minion damage over time build that's popular right now. So this is maybe an 8 divine hit, assuming that the prices for similar items are remotely reflect their actual value. It could just be that there's so few of some of these items out there that people have just listed them for obscene prices. But there's those heralds or minions or whatever that do, what are those poison minions? Oh, poison minions. Right. But does damage over time to you apply to, I don't actually know a lot about how the poison SRS stuff works mechanically. If those builds want their own damage over time as opposed to minion damage over time or something, I don't quite know how that works. I'm not a build guide maker. Then that wand is insane. It really is going to sell for 8 divines. And you can sort of see how this farm is just absolutely cracked. You just get so many tier 1 fractured affixes. Oh, dear lord. Yeah, this chaos guy, my build doesn't really have a lot of chaos resist right now, so this one guy that puts the chaos dot on you, terrifying, incredibly lethal. You really need to have a setup build to be doing this. So I didn't quite get full value from that inventory, which is unfortunate, but if this item's worth as much as as they say it is, oh boy. Let me know in the comments if that really is an 8 Divine Wand. I don't necessarily have full knowledge of the current meta, so if any of these items are absolutely cracked, say something in the comments. I'm mostly just looking for affixes that I know are valuable and just tier 1 stuff in general. As tips, as far as what I noticed, even tier 2 fractured for like chaos resistance can be quite valuable if you're doing this farm yourself. And also even sort of mediocre tier 1 mods on something like an amethyst ring, people really want that chaos resistance. So if you can either get a fractured tier 1 chaos mod or even tier 2, or just have good fractured mod on a chaos base, you're looking at a multiple divine item. I had like tier 1 fractured fire resistance just on an amethyst ring, and I sold it for like 3 divines earlier today, I think. And that's really not that impressive of an item. And the materials to do this map were expensive. It was like 70C for the 2 All Flames, and the Horn Scarab is like 50 chaos. But you're looking at, 1.5 divines at current prices, and you're walking out with multiple items that are just, 3+ divines with some real jackpot hits. You can potentially get, 7, 8+ divine items. And I strongly suspect that the Scarabs probably pay for the whole farm. I went on autopilot there. I should have ID'd those. I'm down to 2 inventories left. That was... Oh boy, I'm trying to talk and play at the same time. But yes, these maps take a very long time to clear and loot and do everything, but boy, the profit is there. Oh god, if I die now, it'll be really bad. I have an empty inventory right now. I mean, my character doesn't even have 100% spell suppression yet. For reference, this is sort of where I'm at. I think once people realize how cracked this is, the 70 chaos right now for these Rogue Exile Embers that's going to seem like nothing compared to the prices they're going to reach soon. I'm quite certain. Oh fuck! So this is really bad. I'm probably not going to get full value from this map now. I'm not really playing at my best because I'm trying to talk while playing. But I've already, got that one item that's like 8+ divines. But yeah, I'm not kidding when I say that these maps are incredibly deadly. Fuck. Okay, well... As you can see, even though I've been doing this farm a whole bunch, sometimes it goes sideways. Honestly, I was not quite prepared for actually proccing the thing with all the Rogue Exiles of the Torment. It was just a little too much for me. My character is not quite there yet. But even so, even despite losing, I'm going to say, more than half the value of that map, I still made out like an absolute bandit. So this farm is absolutely cracked. Once my character gets stronger, I'm already raking it in. I'm going to be raking it in even more. If this wand, it's saying this wand is worth 8 divines. So, and if poison or SRS, I don't know if damage over time multiplier scales for your minions. If it does, this really is going to be worth 8 divines. But yeah, you just constantly get tier 1 affixes, and this farm's cracked. Next steps are, once I get powerful enough to do this and even more powerful enough to be able to do the Delirium version, I'm going to pick up this node here. So that's 2% chance for each of these Rogue Exiles to drop a Cluster Jewel and 1% chance to drop a Delirium Orb. Absolutely nuts. And I think I'm actually going to try and respec it right now to pick up this, maybe get out of some of this stuff that doesn't really do anything, like these additional rewards. I don't really know that one extra Rogue Exile is worth all these points. There's a lot of optimization to be done here, but this is what the Alice tree looks like right now. And just as a reminder, I'm running 3 Strongback Scarabs and the Horned Scarab of Awakening. So you should try out this farm yourself. You'll get rich too, at least until the Fractured item market crashes. But hopefully you're enjoying the insane buffs from Necropolis. Hopefully this farm helps you out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.